learning and teaching constitute the education of John Adams. Previous studies use one of two competing approaches to Adams, neither of them capturing his life's complexity or significance. Dazzled by his colorful personality, his self-awareness, and his revealing himself on paper, most biographers stress Adams's character, some reducing his constitutional and political advocacy and analysis to mere products of his internal conflicts. The competing biographical school spotlights him as a constitutional and political thinker, rooted in an intellectual tradition extending from Greece and Rome to the Enlightenment, but pushing his non-political life into the background. Deciding between character without ideas, reducing Adams to an idiosyncratic volcano but ignoring his intellectual depth, and ideas without character, seeing Adams as a learned intellectual but shortchanging his humanity, is a false choice. Juxtaposing his ideas with his character, this book sets him within intersecting contexts, personal, regional, lawyerly, political, and intellectual, that shaped his vision of the world and of his place in it. Setting Adams in context deepens our understanding of his life's personal dimension. Adams's resentments, explosions of temper, and paroxysms of vanity become more comprehensible when we grasp why he felt and expressed himself that way. His outbursts, voicing his sense of his virtues and failings, had roots in and resonated with his intellectual and cultural contexts. Given, for example, that he and his contemporaries saw fame as this world's just reward for service to the public good, and that his sense of fame resonated with the moral heritage of his Calvinist roots, he had reasons to take personally efforts to denigrate his labors. Those seeking to deny him fame, he thought, were trying to take away what he had earned. By denigrating him, they rejected the worth of his labors and his arguments. His battles with Benjamin Franklin, with Alexander Hamilton, and with Thomas Jefferson were clashes of personality and of principled intellectual disputes about political theory and practice. Attention to Adams's personal dimension illuminates interactions between his private and family life and his intellectual and public life. Heeding character and ideas gives us a clearer sense of his marriage to Abigail Smith Adams, for example, showing it as an intellectual and political partnership as well as a loving relationship. It also suggests why he so often sacrificed his and his family's happiness to his sense of duty and his obligation to public service, and why he expected his family to understand the choices that he made. Adams's regional origins also helped to shape him and to explain his political behavior. Passionately loyal to his native land, Adams saw himself as a son of Braintree, of Massachusetts, and of New England. He represented and embodied his local, colonial, state, and regional roots. In these commitments he had much in common with others of his state and region, and his conduct's regional context and sources help to explain what otherwise looks idiosyncratic, bringing to the biographical enterprise insights drawn from scholarly analysis of local loyalties' effects on American politics. For example, in the late 1770s and 1780s, during his diplomatic service in Europe, Adams shared with most New Englanders a strong suspicion of France, though France, the new nation's strongest ally, was the only European power able to counter British military and naval might. Influenced by their austere Calvinist Protestant English heritage, they saw the French as corrupt, decadent, and mired in Catholic idolatry and superstition. Thus, letters written to Adams by fellow New Englanders, including Abigail, commiserating with his torments and echoing his suspicions that he was being undermined by the French and by fellow diplomats, resonated with and reinforced his resistance to the French foreign ministry and to Benjamin Franklin. Adams's lawyerly identity is also central to understanding him. Not only was he one of his era's most learned and talented attorneys, but his self-definition as a lawyer was integral to his sense of what he should be as well. The law suited him well as a career, meshing with his love of learning and study, his talent for public speaking and argument, and his capacity for hard work. Even after